My brother being 3 years older, I've always wanted to compete with him and his friends. So when I'm 8 years old and his friends are 11 and we playing football, either you're gonna play with the 11 and 12-year-olds or you not playing. So I've I've been a kid since I was 8, 9 years old. When coach say, "Hey, I need a volunteer," I was the first to raise my hand. I don't care what it is. Like I'm gonna get it done or I'm gonna learn, right? And so putting myself in situations, I've expanded my capacity to, or my threshold to pain tolerance or whatever the case may be. It's like, all right, I'm still present. Get my ass kicked. I can still keep my eyes open and say, all right, let's go to the next round.
That's another one I'm going to steal from you. Expand your capacity. I like that one.
Welcome to the Spartan Up podcast with DeSena, founder and CEO of Spartan Race.
We are talking about overcoming obstacles. The same way we teach people to get over obstacles on the course, we will teach you here on the Spartan Up podcast to get over obstacles in your mind.
On today's episode, Joe talks to Curt Maggitt. We promise this one will change your perspective. Curt is a former linebacker for the Colts, who just the week of this interview earned his MBA. He was also one of the competitors in the grueling 5-day Spartan Games. He'll talk about all that and more, including the hard work his father modeled that's kept everything in his life in perspective. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Optimize, a service created by our friend Brian Johnson. If you want more wisdom in less time, go to optimize.me/SpartanUp. You can start a free 2-week trial there, and then use the code Spartan to save 10% off a monthly or annual membership.
We are here for Spartan Up podcast. I got a very special guest, Curt Maggitt. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Former NFL player. This guy is a beast. And I say that, obviously that's a good word around the Spartan community. He was just up on the farm. We had something called the Spartan Games where we took athletes from all different disciplines and put them through hell. And it was interesting to see who performed well in what discipline. But you had a pretty easy upbringing, right? You grew up real easy, silver spoon, had everything you wanted. How'd you
Yeah.
how'd you get all this grit and resilience that we got to see at the farm?
Yeah. First, I want to say thanks for having me. Um, Started out born and raised in South Florida and grew up in a single parent household. My mom passed when I was 2. And as I grew up, I understood my dad's life journey and then to see a lot of the things that he went through and why our living circumstances were the way they were, government assistance, getting boxes of food from the church. But what I always saw from my dad was a consistent level of gratitude, right? He worked hard every day. He did construction, cut yards, worked at a marina. He would be gone before we went off to school, and he would be gone when the nighttime got there, right? So making tough decisions, well, not tough decisions, but making easy decisions, such as I had friends and stuff that went into selling drugs, joining gangs. That's an easy decision. That's a selfish decision, and from my point of view, seeing the commitment and sacrifices my dad made. So I've always told myself nothing I do in life will ever be hard compared to what my dad has done throughout his life. At one point he had a crazy journey. A couple of things, addicted to drugs at one point, dropped out of school in the ninth grade. Um, shot by the cops 2 times. So all these things, and to raise 3 kids, my brother, my sister, and I, and we all go on to get a college degree. We changed the trajectory of our generations to come and what the Maggitt name stands for. So, like you said, man, when it comes to working hard and not giving up or just embracing uncertainty, that's kind of, my dad is always on the top of my mind.
Wow, three kids on working 3 different jobs and never home. Most
Mhm.
of us, I say it all the time, we have it so damn easy. We don't appreciate anything we have, right? Because not all of us
Mhm.
went through a childhood like that. How did you not make that mistake? How did you not hang a left turn and get into drugs? I mean, I know I grew up in a neighborhood where there was a lot of organized crime, and it looked sexy. It looked like, man, I want money. I want some respect like those guys.
Yeah, that's a great question. And the first thing, I go back to my dad. When I was about 9 years old, he told us what happened when he did this and why that happened, right? And even though I was able to see some of my friends, being 10, 11, 12 years old, they smoking a lot of money, doing whatever they're doing. I just started playing football when I was 7. My second year, when I was 9 years old, I made an all-star team. When I was 8, 9 years old, I had anger management real bad. I wanted to fight. Any reason to fight, let's do it. Play video games, press pause. If somebody outside messing with my sister, I go fight. That was my mindset. Football was a channel for me to release that energy, and I loved it. It provided some discipline, some purpose, and it was what I was good at. And it was a positive affirmation, pretty much. People would say, "All right, hey, good job, Curt. You're doing well," and I like that feeling. So I stayed at it. And like I said, man, to see my dad, we had a place to lay our head. We didn't miss meals. We had clothes on our back, right? So for me to go out and sell some weed or smoke and get into those things that can get me off of track is essentially selfish, because I have what I need.
How the hell did you make it to the NFL? I mean, I know it sounds like you had a gift at 7 or 9 years old, but still, it's not easy. I mean, it's 1 in a million.
Yeah, that was a crazy journey. When I graduated high school, I was the number 3 outside linebacker in the country. I took visits to LSU, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. Went over to Tennessee, started as a freshman. That was one of the first. I was one of the first since like the 1950s to start as a true freshman. My career at Tennessee was a little bit shaky in the sense of high performance and a lot of injuries, right? So my junior year, I had 11 sacks, and I led the SEC, was All-American, all these things, and talking to the biggest agents in the country, and I had a decision to make. I can leave now and go second or third round, dependent, and or I can come back and get 7, 8 sacks. I'll be in the first round, and the money, is huge. So look at the cost benefit. I'm like, all right, let's go be healthy, have fun, and kill it. So my final year, my senior year, I come back, have a good game, first game, second game, pretty good. Third game, biggest game of the season, Tennessee versus Oklahoma, sold out stadium, 102,000 people. It was crazy. The most tremendous atmosphere I've ever been a part of. It was crazy. The crowd was so loud, you can literally feel it physically. Playing against Baker Mayfield, I get 3 TFLs, tackles for loss, in the first quarter. That's some people do that in the whole game. So I'm feeling on cloud 9, feeling like, where it's happening. Early second quarter, they punt. I'm on punt safe. It's just a basic defense. I take 2 steps forward and I fall down. I feel the sharp pain go from like my ribs kind of all the way down to the tip of my toes. I'm like, never felt that. It's not my hip, it's not my hamstring, not my quad, never felt that. Long story short, I end up having an acetabulum rim fracture. So I go from talking to the biggest agents, looking at second, third round projections, to having one of the best first quarters in my career, and anticipation of having a good final season, into talking to one of the top hip specialists in the country, and Dr. Bird in Nashville. And being 22, 23 years old at this time, sitting down with Dr. Bird, he says, "All right, Curt, this can go 2 ways. Either you can heal up fairly and continue to play, but you may need a hip replacement at some point, or you may need a hip replacement within the next 6 months." Right? So at that point, it's not even playing football isn't even the first thing on my mind. So emotions are everywhere. I want to play. I know I can play at a high level. So I'm on crutches for 4 months, non-weight bearing, get invited to the combine. I'm not allowed to perform. I was fortunate to have the Indianapolis Colts take a chance on me, bring me in, so I ended up never having surgery on my hip, had a few injections and whatnot. I performed well in the preseason, recognized as the highest performing outside linebacker in the preseason. Continue to play, and I played real well throughout that season. And so my journey to get to the NFL was it was definitely a journey.
It was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, right? And what about your brother and your sister? What they do?
So my brother, he's 3 years older than me. His name is Curt Maggitt. He went to Iowa State University, and with him being 3 years older than me, it was the perfect age difference where I had a chance to look up to him, learn from him, and also learn from his mistakes. Right, he was pretty much my role model growing up. Yeah, he went to Iowa State, played the same position. I got a couple of the same tattoos as him. I really idolized him growing up. Like that's one of my best. He's my best friend. My sister, I think she had it rougher just because like being in South Florida, if you're good in football, you can make it to college. Just don't get a felony, don't go to jail. Like you can make it to college. And my sister being in the house of three guys, no woman figure, she's the beast, right? She put herself through college, is doing well in Atlanta. She's actually expecting in February, and she's the one. She's awesome.
That's great to hear. That's a great story.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening? You ended up leaving the Colts.
Yeah. So after a year and a half there, with at the end of my first season, I ended up tearing my ACL, and this tear wasn't basic. It was I nearly dislocated my knee on a simple play, and after rehab and treatment, I get waived. I go work out for the Patriots and the Jets. I feel amazing. My knee starts swelling again. Got to go get another surgery. So it's just like, oh, here we go again. Adversity, transition, changes, everything's just flying again. Like, what do I do? So after I get healthy, I tell myself, all right, let's go over to Canada, give it one shot, give it a season, and prove myself that I can play at a high level like I know I can. And, I went over and I did some assessing thinking after my first season. And it's like, all right, it's fun, but where am I going to be long term? What does this look like? Is Curt Maggitt willing to settle essentially and be a Canadian professional football player in Canada? And the answer to that was no. Yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you end up doing? What'd you pivot to?
Yeah. So I took a deep look inside and, kind of did a SWOT analysis on myself and saying like, all right, what do I have that's good? What do I have that's kind of bad? Like, what am I bad at? And looked at the resources that's in arm's reach. And I identified that there are some resources that can help me get back into school. So, all right, I'm going back to school. What school? Online school, So I was like, all right, I love Tennessee. Got a lot of resources at Tennessee. Let's go there. I want to challenge myself to get a degree that pushes me out of my comfort zone. So what I went for is the MBA. And I'm actually graduating this Friday with my MBA in a concentration in supply chain and entrepreneurship.
Wow, you're the beast. Your sister's not the beast. You're the beast.
Yeah, I learned it all from her.
So and then we found you and we convinced you to come out to the farm in Vermont and do the Spartan Games. That was out of your comfort zone a little bit.
We'll be right back to our interview, but first a little bit about today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Optimize, a service created by our friend Brian Johnson. If you haven't seen the episode where Joe gets lessons in Greek philosophy from Brian at our World Championships in Tahoe, make some time to watch it. So what is Optimize? Optimize members get access to over 600 of Brian's philosopher notes, concise, powerful summaries of incredibly impactful books that will help you to transform your life. There are notes on books on overcoming all of life's obstacles and achieving your peak performance in energy, work, and love. In fact, there's even notes on the books The Spartan Way, Spartan Fit, and Spartan Up. You'll also get access to over 50 101 video masterclasses, including Peak Performance 101, Energy 101, Anti-Fragility 101, and over 1,000 +1 lessons that give you one compelling idea to make your life better every single day. Optimize also offers a scientifically validated Optimize Coach program that integrates ancient wisdom, modern science, and practical tools to help you master yourself, serve heroically, and empower others to do the same. So if you're interested in more wisdom, in less time, and aren't we all, we highly recommend you check out Optimize. And don't forget, you can try it out for free for 14 days at optimize.me/SpartanUp. And if you want to save 10% on a monthly or annual membership, use the code Spartan.
And then we found you and we convinced you to come out to the farm in Vermont and do the Spartan Games. That was out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Man, talking to Jerry and Yancey after I did the Deka fit, they were like, hey, think something you may be interested in. And it's crazy because the only thing I knew was it's going to be 4 days, 10 or 11 events, and in Vermont, So I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it.
And was it everything it was cracked up to be? Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it crazy?
It was crazy. It was definitely crazy. And like, I like to say that hard is relative, right? Like what are we comparing it to? And it was one of the toughest things I've done. You know, what I loved about it, it made you tap into the physical, mental, and spiritual side, right? Because on the mental side, we didn't know what we were going to have the next day. The only thing you knew was the event that's in front of your face, right? And nobody's performing at optimal after, you know, the third or fourth event. You still got, and you don't even know what's next, right? So it was amazing.
You enjoyed the mountain bike section, I heard.
Man, so check this out. Before I get down there, I call and rent a mountain bike. I call the bike shop, tell them, hey, I'm 6'3", 230. As I guess I found out that when I picked up my bike, they had me in the system at 6'3", 130. So my bike was definitely too small. And so this is my first time mountain biking too. And it was crazy. It was kind of cool. I like going down. You can pick up some speed. You gotta be careful though, but it's cool.
I saw some video of you throwing rocks over the wall. That was a strong competition.
Yeah, man, they were. And it's crazy. Like, you know, since I transitioned from football, just having like that environment, that level of, you know, intensity, I love that, man. That jump had me cheese. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm getting going, get my juices going. You know, get those chills, man, because you can't just manufacture that like in regular life. You know, just day to day life. So you know, seeing guys like you know Hunter and all the guys go, and my turn is next. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go as fast as I can. You know, I'm not so much worried about technique. I want to get them over the wall. That was cool.
How did it feel being around some top? I mean, they were top athletes at their game, not obviously not a football. Was that awesome?
Yeah, it was amazing. Been around you know, specializing in football. I've been around guys like Robert Mathis, you know, Trent Cole, Andrew Luck, you know, played against Aaron Rodgers. So it's cool to see them, and I have a respect for that game because I've always known it. But then when you see guys, you know, doing the mountain biking, swimming, running, adventure racing, and men and women performing, and it's like, wow, man, it's something for sure.
How was it? That difference between endurance and strength, and you know, because I actually did a Spartan race with Randy Moss. Him and I.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, him and I were next to each other, crawling under the barbed wire, and he was having a tough moment. And I said, Randy, I said, you're an NFL player. He goes, man, this is the hardest fucking thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah, yeah, man, I believe it. And you know, like with our sport, we used to short bursts. You know, give it all out, come back, give it all out, and we're never really going. Nobody's running a mile, right? So now you add, let's say, the obstacle course when you got to do all these different things and continue to go. So, like you said, strength and endurance, and how are you moving, right? And are you moving fast, but are you moving too fast? So that's something I've been trying to work on is being more efficient. But man, it's definitely different. It's a whole different ball game.
Was it humbling because here you are, you're the best at your craft, and now you're around even for Michael Wardian, right? The best at his craft at ultra running, and everybody had the best thing, you know, but then they weren't the best at the games, you know.
Man, it was humbling, and you know, I went in there with an appreciation that I knew I wasn't going to be the best at everything, and I knew I was going to have to, you know, learn on the fly. A couple of things I want to say is, you know, the quality of people that were there, even though we were all competing, that was, you know, that's best in class in my opinion. Everyone had respect. Everyone wanted to win, but you know, I didn't see anyone disrespect each other, and everyone was willing to help each other. So I had a lot of people saying, "Hey, boom, boom, boom," you know, helping me out, which was good in certain things. But man, it was definitely humbling, you know. Yeah.
What'd you think that first moment you and I met? I made you you guys go up the mountain, and we were just carrying around some rocks. Did you think, oh my God, this guy's a madman? Who knows what they're gonna do to us?
Yeah, I try to, you know, I'm good with keeping in my head and just, you know, taking it one thing at a time. But my mind, I was like, all right, let's see, you know, just assessing the environment, seeing who's talking, because I don't know much about who's in. So I'm kind of just like trying to fill it all out. I'm like, all right, what are we actually doing? But it was definitely a curveball.
What advice would you give to folks that are, a lot of people, I think most of us, we want to stick with what we know. We want to do what we're good at. You did a SWOT analysis of yourself. You described earlier, right? Maybe we should all do the hard stuff.
Yes, I definitely agree. Just speaking from my perspective and my experience, I've learned so much about myself from doing different things. One example is when I got free diving certified, just holding my breath for 4 minutes, right? Going diving 70, 80 feet, going swimming, free diving with sharks. And when you get yourself out of that comfort zone, you meet more people, which expose you to different avenues of life, right? And I've learned different techniques of learning, how to learn on the fly, how to apply certain disciplines and skills to certain things, right? And man, it's a beautiful journey, right? I think I tell some of my friends is if we continue to play on the same playground, we're not gonna meet any new friends, and that's that's life. You know what I mean? So how can we get ourselves out of that?
I like that. I like that line a lot. I'm going to steal it. If you continue to play on the same playground, you're not going to meet new friends.
Yeah,
I
100%.
like that. Well, listen, it sounds like you got your shit together. We're all super impressed. What three things do you live by? Like, what are three things? Is one of them that exact idea of, hey, we're going to do something new and meet new people every day? Like, what are your three things?
So the three things I carry with me no matter where I go is hard work, integrity, and servitude. I'll always give my best effort. Integrity, I'll always do the right thing, even if it's not in the best interest of me. And servitude, how can I help, right? How can I give back? How can I serve? And that goes to time, resources, and really just being intentional with every person we meet, right? Something else I'm very passionate about is, you know, curating relationships with like-minded people. And that's not necessarily people that play football, right? I like to think people that's like-minded, they respect others, they work hard, they want to be great in their craft, and we're going on the same path, right? Maybe a different lane, but we're in the same path. And man, I've enjoyed that.
Well, somebody said to me, we are an average of our 5 best friends.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to surround yourself and pull your average up.
Yeah.
Let's dive a little deeper. Hard work. A lot of people shy away from hard work.
Mhm.
How'd you learn to embrace it from dad?
Yeah, definitely from dad. And another thing was my brother being 3 years older. I've always wanted to compete with him and his friends. So when I'm 8 years old and his friends are 11 and we playing football, either you're gonna play with the 11 and 12-year-olds or you not playing. So I've been a kid since I was 8, 9 years old. When coach say, "Hey, I need a volunteer," I was the first to raise my hand. I don't care what it is. Like I'm gonna get it done or I'm gonna learn, right? And so putting myself in situations, I've expanded my capacity to, or my threshold to pain tolerance or whatever the case may be. It's like, all right, I'm still present. Get my ass kicked, I can still keep my eyes open and say, all right, let's go to the next round.
That's another one I'm going to steal from you. Expand your capacity. I like that one a lot. Let's dive into integrity. Like, listen, it's hard to do the right thing. Backs against the wall. You could take care of yourself first, but you don't.
Yeah. So when I was in my off season during football, professional football, I worked with a group called the Program, and the motto was mission accomplishment and troop welfare. So we're doing everything in the best interest to get the mission done. And troop welfare, we're going to make sure we take care of our team. And that's the mindset, that's the goal, right? And integrity is, to me, is the foundation. And that's something I learned in business school is culture beats strategy, right? So no matter how good your strategy is, the culture is crappy, it's not going to last, right? So having integrity at the foundation will definitely equal success in the long term instead of just that short term gain.
I like it. And servitude, I don't know, Theo Epstein, he was the manager, right, at Red Sox, then went over to the White Sox and he won. He took both those teams out of the dark ages. And I said, how'd you do it? And he said, when I could get the team to understand that anytime something good happens, the team did it. Anytime something bad happens, they did it. He goes, when I get everybody thinking that way, he goes, then we got a winning team.
Wow.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that's powerful. That's
right?
definitely powerful. Yeah, I like that.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. You're awesome. I want my kids to hang out with you. I want you to teach them a thing or two. I want you to expand their capacity.
Yeah, I'm cool with that for sure. Joe, something I wanted to bring up is, for all the former athletes, football players, basketball, guys that's competed for 15, 20 years in some capacity. And, when that transition comes, they start working and think that they have to put the cleats aside or, you know, try a Spartan venture into something different, a different avenue of competition. And that's something I've appreciated with my experience with y'all is, you have Deka Fit, you have Deka Strong, you have Spartan races, there's a wide variety of opportunities to compete. And, if you want to compete, you might not be the best at it when you start, but if you want to compete, the opportunity is there. So
No,
I definitely want to.
it's nice, right? Because it's not so specialized that you could come out and be a high level athlete again.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
And by the way, we get ex mountain bikers, ex runners, triathletes, football. You get them all that come out, and this is their second life, as a top athlete. So I agree with you. I had a lot of college kids come up over the years and say, man, I wish I knew about this. I stopped playing sports in college. I put on 15 pounds. This would have been great for me,
Yeah, definitely.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Optimize, a service created by our friend Brian Johnson. If you want more wisdom in less time, go to optimize.me/SpartanUp. You can start a free 2-week trial there, and then use the code Spartan to save 10% off a monthly or annual membership.